Chrissie Mayr in the jam, mic check, it's a riot. Dan and Dave got the stage, ain't nobody quiet. Laugh at the circus headlines, be the clowns. Political parties crumble, tearing it down. The system is down, let the chaos ignite. Punchline sharper than a sword in a fight. News is a joke, ain't no truth in the script. Everybody's thinking, the whole thing's flipped. Red and blue's a disaster, crumbling plaster. Elephants and donkeys running out of laughter. Even libertarians lost in the mess. Freedom's in the gutter, it's anybody's guess. Spin the wheel of madness, every spin's a win. Chrissy's got the giggles, let the laughter begin. Dan and Dave toss the mic, pass it like a flame. Burning down the nonsense, ain't nobody tame. Third parties tripping, caught in the same trap. Preaching freedom, but the map got gaps. Mics pop, beats drop, satire on deck. Laughing at the fall, what's collapsing next? The system is down, let the chaos ignite. Punchline sharper than a sword in a fight. News is a joke, ain't no truth in the script. Everybody's thinking, the whole thing's flipped.
Elephant stomps, donkey kicks, it's a mad parade. Red ties, blue lies in the masquerade. Libertarian whispers, lost in the storm. Freedom gets tangled in its own reform. Clowns in the center ring, watching collide. Left hooks, right jabs, egos amplified. Chrissy with the mic, laughing till it hurts. Dan and Dave pointing out the stains on their shirts. POP chopping their own like a butcher, yo. Turncoats in the mix, moving extra slow. Donkeys pray loud, but they eat their own hay. Fighting over scraps in the light of day. Libertarian dream, but the dream's all fractured. Arguments on freedom, the rhetoric's captured. Chrissy got jokes, breaking tension with fire. Dan and Dave throwing bars like a live wire. Political chess, pawns lost in the game. Kings and queens fall, but the blame stays the same. Three-ring circus, the tent's burning down. Chrissy's on the sidelines, wearing a gold crown. Clowns in the center ring, watching collide. Left hooks, right jabs, egos amplified. Chrissy with the mic, laughing till it hurts. Dan and Dave pointing out the stains on their shirts. Chopping their own like a butcher, yo. Turncoats in the mix, moving extra slow. Donkeys pray loud, but they eat their own hay. Fighting over scraps in the light of day. Libertarian dream, but the dream's all fractured. Arguments on freedom, the rhetoric's captured. Chrissy got jokes, breaking tension with fire. Dan and Dave throwing bars like a live wire.
This is a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.
In a world where everything sucks, two men have the balls to laugh at it. This is The System is Down.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's another week and they're still letting women make jokes. Also, Elon Musk is calling out Donald Trump for some very naughty lists, and we got a bunch of libertarian dumb shit. Stick around.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The System's Down. Today's episode is brought to you entirely, almost entirely, by you guys in the Downers Club. People like William Ogle, Sir Tur, Nathan Gall, Keenover, Gilda Kate, John Winchester, Bob Seifert, Drugs for Robots, Autumn Pangea, Sean Van Beaverhout, No Tread, Zara Maxwell, Kimberly, Kim Yuppie, Noah, Justico, Silas, Denise, Joey, Adam, Donald, Matt, Ozma, Taz, Danielle, Sean Luke Picard, Stoney, Heflumps, SDG, Van Zott, Javari, Tim Brown, Howie Snowd, Nathan Seps, Brian Weld, William Wells, and many other people. If you want to get your name on that list and have it read incorrectly someday, going over to patreon.com/The System is Down, where you'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content after parties that sponsor this show and keep it getting bigger, better, more beautiful every single week. Go sign up, support it. We're going to be doing one today. That's all. Now, we are here to talk about some very important things that are going on in the world and a whole lot of very unimportant things that are going on in the world. and we're going to laugh at all of them together. And I can't do it alone, so I'm going to bring in my all-time sidekick, Mr. Dave Casey, and a very special guest, comedian, podcaster, and so much more, Miss Chrissie May. There she is, Chrissie Mayr. Chrissie.
Hello. Good to be here, guys.
Thank you for being here. How is it going?
Oh my gosh, it's great. The baby started walking a little bit. His front teeth are coming in. So going to be a lot of biting and stomping in my future.
Yep. It's your first, right?
Yep.
How's
Congratulations.
going?
Thank you. And he's still nursing. So getting nervous over here.
Till like four or five is probably where that cuts
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Like
It's definitely
20
all
or
stop
30 if
before he
it's a
goes to
libertarian.
You can
college.
stand up. Right. Yeah, sure.
20 or 30 years if it's a libertarian baby. It's up to you. Chrissie, thank you so much for being here. You've got a tour coming up. You've been doing a lot with your show, your podcast, everything. Before we get too deeply into any of that, I just wanted to ask you very quickly about your Wikipedia page. Are you familiar with your Wikipedia page?
I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm sure it's full of propaganda and untruths.
Well, I just
This is
thought
gonna be
that your introduction of yourself on your Wikipedia page was just so very polite for yourself. So very
Wow,
I don't know.
they wrote
Christine
American
Mayr.
conservative amateur stand-up amateur. What makes someone an amateur? Internet
Bullshit.
entertainer and YouTuber.
Yep, internet entertainer and amateur stand-up comedian, and you like
Wow.
the least kind way that they could paint you on your Wikipedia page is what we found. There.
What differentiates an amateur from a professional?
Right?
What do you
when
guys
do you cross
think it
that
is?
threshold of amateur to professional?
Let's ask Grok because he
Yeah.
knows. He
That's a good
knows all
idea.
things. Grok, what's the? I'm writing this in all caps.
Go for it.
Difference between an amateur and a professional.
One
Whoops,
is
rife
better
with
than the
spelling
other.
errors. The difference between an amateur and a professional lies primarily in their approach, experience, and often their source of income. An amateur engages in a activity for passion, hobby, or personal interest. Professional has advanced skills backed by formal training. Actually, I do have formal training. I was at the UCB and the Magnet Theater for 5 years. And although unnecessary, I did take a stand-up comedy class when I first started.
I'd say that,
And I have
that's more professional
doing-
than most comedians. How many
I've
comedians
been
actually
doing
take comedy classes?
Yeah, and I've been doing stand-up since 2010. So
Come on.
what is
What do
that,
they want? You know what?
14 years? How much more do we need?
It's you know what? I don't think that there's any standard that you could. It's probably what you're talking about is, and the gatekeepers over there at fucking Wikipedia will just classify you where they want because you're not maybe saying what they want to hear.
Yeah, you know why they think I'm an amateur? Because they don't like me. They don't like
That's
my
right.
politics. They don't like my tweets.
I mean,
And
if you
they're
read
the
down the
people-
page,
That's what I'm trying to say.
they go on
Look
to
at
say, in 2021, an article in the New Republic examining Compound Media, birthplace of the Proud Boys, said
Oh, boy.
Mayr had delved deep into QAnon conspiracy theories. Hold on, I need like a based button. or something.
Let's name one. Let's name one. And
You're a deep QAnon Proud Boys conspiracy theorist to storm the Capitol on January 6th is what I got from reading your
Wow.
Wikipedia page. Is that
they
accurate?
really paint such a picture. We didn't store. I mean, I was not storming the Capitol. I walked at a very reasonable pace with my girlfriend at the time, who was
I'm all walked the Capitol.
starving, and we were mostly looking for maybe a food truck. But yeah, people get it so twisted. Is Compound Media the birthplace of the Proud Boys? I don't know. It's really Gavin. It's a Gavin McGinnis. He used to do a show on Compound Media, and he started it. And this is like, people should know Proud Boys lore before they go off on it, but most people don't want to know it because then it renders their points incorrect. So he started it as like an all male social group. He wanted to try to get the booth boy at the time, get him laid, and it was they're trying to give him advice like, don't jerk off, wear leather jackets, work out, things of that nature.
It was
And
just the Andrew Tate of yesteryear.
I guess, but
Don't
like
be gay.
less
Man up.
caustic, and they were just trying to help this guy out, and it
Tape's
became
trying
kind of just like a social group. And then they eventually started ushering, I don't know if ushering is the right word, but like walking Ann Coulter, people of that ilk, to their speaking engagements. And then through trusty left-wing propaganda sort of became the answer to Antifa. And I guess the rest we all know.
Mm-hmm. When you went to, what was the reason for attending the January 6th event? Were you there for your podcast to cover it, or were you there to make jokes to calm everybody's nerves while they're storming the Capitol? Or what were you?
Hey, everybody, who's from out of town? Yeah. Hey,
We all
Chinese
are.
lady, you're a terrible driver, I bet. I was there to cover it and do man on the street interviews. I had been there in December and in November because there were a bunch of rallies at the time, and I was annoyed that the mainstream media was covering it so not just unfavorably but inaccurately. They would do early morning flyovers and be like, well, there's nobody here at this rally. Trump has no base. He's got no following. And I was like, that's not true. There is a ton of people. They just, they're meeting up a couple hours later. So I went just to sort of cover things as a, I don't know, independent journalist type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, wasn't on the squirrely side of the building, didn't go in the building. I was on the side of the building that felt like a field trip, honestly. People brought their dogs, people were in costumes. It was fun until it wasn't for some people after the fact.
Somebody's got to ruin the party at some point,
Did you?
Yep.
Did you anticipate that they would maybe try and do some kind of false flag or just try to in some way to paint you guys horribly, or did you think it would be like just a sweet day for a rally?
No, it was really after the fact that I started to put a lot of things together, and the more folks I talked to, like Jason Burmis or John Paul Rice and my friend Risflex, who's another YouTuber who covers conspiracy stuff. I went with her. We shared a hotel room together. That she was my rally buddy. I just didn't, I guess naively, I did not expect any kind of a false flag. I didn't expect them to use the fact that we were all there. But obviously after the fact, you're like, wait, Trump tried to call the National Guard. Pelosi wouldn't let him. I didn't see really very many cops at all there. Considering how many people were there, it was pretty chill. Everyone was pretty well behaved from where I was standing. So it was such a shock to see later on the chaos that was going on the other side of the building, inside the building. And I remember like kind of naively looking over it, watching people scale the wall. I'm like, oh, I guess they just want to get a better picture. They just want to climb up the wall to get a better view of things.
Most charitable, yeah.
I didn't really think people were trying to get inside the building, and I was like, for what? What's going on inside the building? It took me like longer than it should have to realize, like, oh, they're certifying the election. Oh, people are pissed at Mike Pence. Okay, but I just thought everyone was there to just physically stand outside and show their disapproval.
We all agreed we were going to be calm.
Yeah.
So, back in those days, there was certainly a lot of censorship going on. I got kicked off of all the platforms just for talking about stuff on a podcast around the January 6th time. You being a stand-up comedian and all the cancel culture nonsense that's happened over the last decade, where do you see that having come to at this point between January 6th, all that stuff, all the craziness of Donald Trump coming back in, and now? Do you think we're on a bit of an upswing?
I think we are, and I totally feel you on all that censorship. It was happening to me too. Even to this day, I'll stream my podcast to Facebook, among other places like Twitter and Twitch and YouTube, of course, and I still get whole episodes taken off of Facebook for reasons like hate speech, and it's just very arbitrary.
They won't even let me put mine back on Facebook. So
Facebook is still like the most ridiculous platform in terms of just not allowing, just labeling people hate speakers.
Zuck's conservative arc.
Yeah,
they were giving out 90-day bans like
Wow.
You can't do anything for 90. That was their thing for a while. Yeah.
And
Facebook's
so
terrible.
I thought, what better name to give my first comedy album than Live from January 6th? So I recorded it. I think I recorded it March of 2021. I could be wrong about that. And then, or maybe it came out the following year. Oh God, I'll have to look that up. But it was great because I had a lot of material about being there that day and material that I just had built up over a couple years leading up to that point. So, yeah, it is so crazy. And I hope people don't forget just how kind of scary those times were, where you're like, oh, it was all understood that you couldn't say anything about the jab. You couldn't say anything about the election. You couldn't say anything about the old puppet that was presenting itself as our president at the time. And I just really hope we don't forget what it's like, because we're only just one administration away. We're always just a couple years away from getting back to that place, really.
I mean, not even necessarily. Who knows what? I mean, Donald Trump was talking about deporting people for being anti-Semites. So, like, we're not safe from it currently. We are a little bit more safe. And there's certainly a big sigh of relief on that aspect, the censorship aspect, because of Donald Trump being in there and Elon Musk buying Twitter and all that. But they still have their issues too.
Do you remember the context for why he said that he would deport people for anti-Semitism?
I believe it was all the college campus stuff going around. I don't know. I don't remember the details.
Was it that lady that was like doing like Hamas activism, and was she like a student out of Columbia? I wonder if it was related to that.
It could be. I'm not sure. But when you just blanket statement like, "Hey, we're deporting anti-Semites," like, I know that's a far stretch, but it's not good verbiage to use, and it doesn't.
We're jailing flag burners too, by the way. If you guys didn't know that, we're going to do that too.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on jailing flag burners?
Has he actually jailed any flag burners?
Well, no, that would have to go. It wouldn't. That's not going to pass. But just the fact that he is suggesting we should do that is not. I mean, it's not promising. It's not good. I know
it's not great, but Trump does say a lot of things. And
I will release the Epstein files. Yeah,
he says a lot of things.
I still don't regret my vote, but yeah, I mean, I'll gotta call him out when he does some blatant. I mean, First Amendment shit. He seems like he's doing pretty good on the Second Amendment. I've appreciated some of that. And obviously freeing Ross and that was Elon
great. That was really cool.
Even though that didn't really work out. But I'm still I have no buyer's remorse yet. Could be worse.
Ross, Assange.
Yeah,
that was exciting.
Yeah. So, where do you see comedy being at now? Are we in a safe place? Are we in a temporarily safe place? We've got like shows like Kill Tony that now have like Netflix deals, which is just intentionally offensive comedy. Whatever is funny is the joke that you say on that show. And we've got Netflix not being a bitch anymore. Do you think that's going to continue in that direction?
I think Netflix is just following the money at this point. I don't think they have any scruples or any like moral positioning. They just, Hinchcliffe, really strong roast master. He and Nikki Glaser, household names at this point for their roasting abilities. And so really any project with Tony attached at this point, thanks to his appearance at the Madison Square Garden rally for Trump, he's gonna, I don't know Tony's politics, but that positions him well to be kind of part of this, populist sort of comedy sphere. And good for him. So, he's taking advantage of that, and like, it's a popular show. I did it a couple of years ago. I did it actually at the very beginning of the lockdowns, like when the pandemic dropped. It was like March of 2020, and I remember
did you have to zoom in for that one?
No, I was physically there because I was doing my first show ever, my first headlining show in LA, and I didn't know what venues to go to, so I ended up just booking it at this place called the Moroccan Lounge, which is right near or on Skid Row. It's like low key a very dangerous place, and I had managed to get myself like on the the guest panel for Kill Tony, and I think it was William Montgomery who came out in a full like beekeeper or hazmat suit, and everyone was laughing like, "Oh, it's so ridiculous." And then I remember being the next day in West Hollywood in a grocery store, like just that sort of panic in the air. People buying, I was buying weird stuff. I remember I thought I needed to buy, I bought many small bottles of Listerine, and then I bought a big container of rubbing alcohol, and I dumped out all the Listerine from these little bottles and instead poured each one of them full of this rubbing alcohol that I bought, because I thought like, oh, this is gonna be really smart. I'm gonna
Does this
make
end
my
with you
own.
making pipe bombs or something?
I was like, I gotta make my own hand sanitizer. I gotta make my own. I gotta wipe down all the. And this is before people were wearing masks, but this was like people had. I remember plastic gloves on, at the store, and people were just buying
God, so
stuff.
weird.
People were in their bread and milk panic, and just really long lines. Yeah, people were really buying up the hand sanitizer and the gel and that kind of stuff, and then. I had to fly back 2 days later, and I think I was supposed to have a one-on-one interview with Tony Hinchcliffe, and then he canceled. But everything else was luckily not canceled. I think I did an interview with Esther Koo, and I just looking back, like I had, my setup for doing podcasts at the time, my mobile setup was like just so rudimentary compared to like what I have now, which is a bit more professional. So, and it just seems like so long ago, and it was only 5 years ago. It's
So
wild.
you're-
But to answer your question, yes, anybody who does the road and does comedy outside of New York and LA and Austin now at this point knows that just like people are people. They've always laughed at stuff that's inappropriate, that's sexist, that's racial, that's homophobic, misogynistic, all that. You don't like someone who's relaxed doesn't have control over what they're laughing at. But sometimes if you are in a place maybe like LA or New York or like very blue city, you will see people kind of like, oh, am I going to be judged for what I'm laughing at? Luckily, I don't see that too much in the audiences for my shows. Most people know what they're getting into. But it's interesting to see like anyone who's kind of like a canceled comedian or anti-woke, however you want to categorize us. We're kind of like Leonardo Joni, right? Tyler Fisher. We're kind of Tim Dillon. Oh my God. It's so funny. I just saw him on with Chris Cuomo. I'm like, this is such an interesting crossover. Like I just
the
love
Matrix is broken.
how-
It's beautiful.
I love how kind of mainstream he's becoming in a sense. Like we're kind of always doing what we've always done, and booking our venues, whoever will have us, whether that means renting a theater or a space, or just kind of you get in with a few clubs and that's all you do. But the mainstream comics, like you see like Bill Burr, kind of once he got that Star Wars bag, he very much changed his sense of humor, especially from his Opie and Anthony days when he was coming up. And it just, I guess that's what happens. You live a lifestyle that you have to uphold and maintain, and you start not joking about certain things, and then you start going on shows like The View. I guess if that's what you want to do with your life, sure. But it's just like, oh, that just reeks of selling out. And then you have this article came out in March. Nikki Glaser says there was a quote from her, and who knows if this was just like a left-wing dog whistle or something, or like a nod from like lefty to lefty, but she was like, oh, I'm so afraid to talk about politics in my set. I don't want to be deported. I don't want Trump to get mad at me. And like nobody gives a shit. Like, what do you really think he's going to deport a comedian over trying to put a dent into the, what was it, 3,000 a day that had been coming over for the last 4 years? So I think I heard Kathy Griffin echo a similar sentiment, but I'm like, yeah, if you really believe that, you're truly brainwashed.
Didn't he just deport the that guy who does the GIF? He's the black guy. He just goes.
Who's that?
Do you know that guy though? I think he deported that guy.
I'm gonna need a little more information on that.
I know who Dave's talking about. I don't know his name though, but
check it in the chats. Pretty sure he was deported. We got him, boys. He's out.
Chats, let us know who the black guy is that does the face.
Who is
for
this
a living.
Black guy?
Make sure he's okay.
I don't know, but he's somebody else's problem now.
I think he got black bagged and sent
black bagged.
Yeah,
could
like
have
over
just
the
said
head.
bagged, Dave.
Wow, I appreciate the comments in the chat. Shockingly cool guest. Nice.
Shockingly cool.
Shockingly cool because they
I'm
weren't
gonna add
expecting
that
a
to my
female
bio.
comedian to be funny, or what? Why is it? Why are they surprised that you're awesomely cool?
Because there's not a lot of there's not a lot of women who pursue comedy as any kind of career. There are lots of women. They're just not pursuing stand-up comedy. They're doing other things like in your office, or they're cutting
having
hair,
babies
or they're
and
making
shit.
or they're moms, right? Like the lifestyle and the work you have to put in to pursue stand-up comedy professionally is very unsustainable and unlivable for most women, because you got to put in basically 10 years up front, unless you become like an overnight success, like you get famous on TikTok and then you get a whole career that way. But that is, that's a risk, right? Matt Rife, huge career on TikTok, blew up. Michael Che just did a couple years of stand-up, got picked up by SNL. Sometimes you'll have people who, they'll spend a few years at like a UCB, they'll get scooped up for an SNL. But again, you have to be a certain type of pedigree of like Ivy League school. You kind of have to it's a bit is nepotism the right word? I don't know. It's like a very small, it's a very certain type of person they're looking to book. Anyway, what's my point is that most women, it's just, they're not going to sink 10 years of their 20s to stand-up comedy when those are like your prime, trying to find a husband, starting a lifetime. Yeah.
To your point, though, you mentioned that Nikki Glazer is a household name, and she is as funny. Like, she's fucking hilarious all the time.
Haley's pretty funny too.
She doesn't miss. So like, it can be done. And but that's funny that
so
she joked
good.
about she's like
Her
40, and I think I don't know if she's married yet, but like she did hustle, and she forgoed all that stuff for it.
It's hard work. It's also having the right relationships, like any other industry, I suppose. But it's a lot of who you know and what circles you're in.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how often people will be like, "Oh, you're anti-woke. You should just go to the mothership in Austin and just have them put you up." And like, oh, why did I think of that?
That's it.
Okay, there's a bit more to it than not just.
I know what
just
you
not
should
being
do.
Woke.
You should go to Joe Rogan's club.
Just show up. Be like, I'm here.
Right. Ready to go.
So, Chrissy, your new tour, the DEI Hire Tour, running from August to November. Explain the name. Explain your reason and what your plans are.
I really just needed something for the graphic, and I had a tweet go kind of viral maybe a couple of months ago. And it's always the last tweet you expect, right? The ones that you put in like no thought to.
Yep,
but I was flying to Indiana to do a show, and I just took I often, when I can, take a picture of the cockpit. I just do a skin check. I do an elbow check. I just see who's in there, what their gender is, how wrinkly are those elbows, what color are those elbows. And I saw a black guy in the co-pilot seat. I just took a picture. I tweeted it out. Hey, I'm headed to Indiana. If I don't make it, blame DEI. Like, not even a smart joke. Like, just a stupid, like, low-hanging fruit type joke. And I swear, guys, for 6 weeks, I was getting death threats. That's when you know something goes so viral, when you tweet something out, but then you get death threats on Instagram.
That's how you know it's a banger.
Black Twitter knew all about it. Black Instagram knew all about it. Very upset about it. But Instagram is like the low IQ app, right? So they're not gonna come meet you on Twitter like somebody will, put it on their stories on Instagram. They'll be like, "Get her," So it was, and then it got to a point where the co-pilot or the pilot, whatever he was himself, was like, "I studied very hard to get to this position." Like I'm doing a terrible. Whatever he is, he's Jamaican or something. He's like, I went to all of these schools. You are stupid to think I did not. And people upset at me like I invented DEI. I'm like, y'all are the ones who applaud it, who vote for it, who live in it. Don't be telling me about your qualifications. Like, we should all be upset about DEI being a thing. And then people being like, you don't realize women are part of DEI too. I'm like, yes, I do. And I would
take a picture if it was a woman too.
Yeah, if it was a chick sitting in the pilot seat, I would have been equally alarmed. And so I just didn't hear the end of that for
Equally
a
or
good 6
more?
weeks. And people were like tagging American Airlines. Oh, we should put her on the no-fly list.
Yep,
Take away her
that's the
gold
line right there.
membership. take
Awesome.
take away her points. And I was like, look,
Right.
I have really,
You're like,
I
I
had a
survived the
debacle.
no-fly list after January 6th. I think I'm going to be okay taking
Oh
a
my
picture of the
gosh.
pilot.
I think my friend Tyler Fisher might have been put on the no-fly list for one of the airlines.
Oh,
I
jeez.
had an airline debacle with American Airlines like 2 years ago, right before my wedding. Actually, I was touring around with my friend Keanu Thompson, and we had just done Vegas. We were flying from Vegas to Dallas, and we were wearing just very Vegas-y outfits. Like I had kind of sheer pants on. I had like a black bathing suit bottom on with like sheer black, like rhinestone pants. Like we looked ridiculous. We're having fun. We're living our lives, people. And I had this like tie, like bell sleeves, wrap shirt, and a big cowboy hat. And she had like a crop top and a skirt with a slit, but like no nipples hanging out, no flaps exposed. And we get pulled over from we're about to board our plane. We're literally last in line, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. Sorry, ma'am, you have to change your pants. And I was like, what? And he didn't say go to the restroom, we'll hold the flight. He didn't even say I'll hold up this beach towel for you and change. No, we were thrown into a panic, and we had to change our pants. And said to my friend Keanu, you too. And we're just digging through my luggage because we had checked our other luggage. Just digging
Thank God
through
for
my
TSA,
carry-on
am I right? Like
for something.
Who would tell us to strip down in the airport if not for TSA?
I just had these shorts, like these random rhinestone shorts, 2 different pairs, and gave one to Keanu myself. And I'm just changing, and I'm like, isn't this kind of more revealing because I'm going from pants to now shorts? And poor Keanu, she had no underwear on. Like the underwear was attached to her skirt, so when she had her puss out at the gate, their tampon string grazing the floor. Like it was horrible. It was really horrible.
That was cool for a second, and then you ruined it. Thank you.
A little bit naked there, and it just maybe a lesser woman would have been traumatized from this. But I was like, well, I was on swim teams and diving teams for like 10 years. I'm used to a deck change, and it just was like we were thrown into a panic by this guy.
And that day is the day that Chrissie became a libertarian.
I think he got one over on you guys.
And after outfits, and that went viral. And I was worried. I was like, this is no way to treat a gold member. And I was worried that they were going to take away my points. And people are like, you should not fly with them again. I'm like, I very much still fly with them. Those are all my points. Like I've committed to this airline.
I'm in too deep now. No matter how much they abuse me.
It's true.
So we're going to talk about some Elon Musk calling Donald Trump a pedophile and then immediately reversing and undoing that whole thing in just a minute. But I'll ask you this again at the end. But so for anybody that tunes out, where can people find you and your information on your tour and anything else you got?
Oh, yes. Thank you. For tickets, by the way, I'm going to be in a bunch of different random cities, Belmore, Long Island, Plano, Texas, Massillon, Ohio, San Diego, Phoenix. So if you live in any of those areas, you can get tickets at ChrissieMayr.com, as it's spelled right here. And yeah, get them now. You don't want them to get sold out. And then you'd be like, man, I heard her on a podcast months ago and I just sat on my thumb and did nothing. Get them now. And we're adding more shows to it as well. So if you don't live in one of those areas, sit tight. And if you know of a cool venue that would have someone such as myself, tweet at them, tag me. I'm always looking for new cool places to perform. And you can follow me on Twitter here at Chrissie Mayr. And if you're an idiot, if you're a low IQ person, you can follow me on Instagram and send your death threats there at Chrissie Mayr Pod.
I don't know how anybody.
And I don't know. Should I start
streaming on Facebook and Instagram anymore?
Should I start a TikTok, guys? I go back and forth on if that's a good idea.
Dave's a big TikTok whore. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aren't we too old though?
Yeah, I mean, I don't post about I use it mostly for the edits, but you are a performer. You should be everywhere with the youth is. So it's so easy. You have, I'm sure you are sitting on a treasure trove of content that you could just cut up into new content for that audience, It's so easy.
I thought you were going to say like you're sitting on a butt plug and
Right now. That should be content. Right.
Like, whoop! How'd you know? You're
Million
right.
hits.
You're right. I should be making little clips.
Now, guys, if you find yourself at the airport and you're asked to strip down to your underwear, it would behoove you to have yourself covered underneath. And the best way to do so is by wearing sheath underwear.
Wow, that was
Guys,
smooth.
thank you. Prepare to revolutionize your undercarriage with Sheath's patented dual pouch technology. It's like your boys get their own VIP lounge, one compartment for the wand and another for your balls.
Very
Any
important
thoughts?
penis.
Oh, it's like you're got a fan on for your undercarriage down there. Everything's great. Give them a shot. Sheathunderwear.com, promo code system, bro.
That's right. Go to sheathunderwear.com, promo code system at checkout, and keep your balls from, I don't know, sticking to your legs and stuff. Now,
Give your
that
balls
being
some
said-
space. Don't they deserve that? You know,
That's
they're
right.
working hard for you down there, getting hot,
speaking
barely
of
getting
dicks,
any air.
let's talk about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, because they were in a spat this week. Elon Musk, after we covered all the Elon Musk versus Donald Trump stuff last week, where we were like, oh boy, he's calling him out for that big, beautiful bill. That's some dangerous territory that Elon Musk's walking down. Then immediately after, literally the day after last week's episode, Elon Musk drops, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not made it public. And the ending, if I can get it to show up right, without my big, nope, oh, God, dumb face in the way. Have a nice day, DJT, said Elon Musk, which, zing. There were, I mean, that's a cold ass tweet, and I didn't know, where things would go with this. It seemed like this was going to be a real big clusterfuck, and that there would be a lot of back and forth because Donald Trump and Elon Musk were already going at each other, and then he drops this giant bomb, and then it's just like, well, release the LA riots, and nobody's going to talk about this again. What are you guys' thoughts on?
Are
on
you
this?
saying that like Trump orchestrated the riots to distract from his beef with Elon?
I am not saying that. I'm just
better
saying
not say that,
nobody's
bro.
talking about this anymore, because even though this was like the biggest thing like 3 days ago, and all of a sudden just nobody cares. And Elon Musk, as I said toward the beginning of the show, he did come out with some updates. Well, there was some back and forth the first 2 days, and he said, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems wouldn't control the House, and the Republicans would be 51 to 49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude, and all sorts of other stuff. This I want to play in a minute. It's Donald Trump talking about the files, but just like, what is this? Just today, Elon Musk posted, I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far. Now, notice he doesn't say, I regret that one very specific post that everybody's talking about. Just some of my posts about it, they went too far. He doesn't say how they went too far or whether or not they were true. Or was he lying? Or, like, there's no way for Elon Musk to really spin this in a way that doesn't look bad on him, because either he was lying about Donald Trump or he's covering for a pedophile now. So with the implications that he was going for, do you think it was just him, like, tongue-in-cheek, being cheeky Elon Musk, saying, well, he's in there, and that's why they can't come out because he was on the flight logs for these 2 minor things or whatever? I don't know. What's your take on this, Chrissy?
I think Elon saying that Trump is in the files is different than saying he was a pedo and a child enthusiast. And I think he put it that way just to kind of create drama. He sounds like a woman scorned. He sounds like one of his baby moms. Honestly, he's giving a little bit of like Ashley St. Clair vibes there with lashing out. And I don't believe that Trump is a pedo. I don't think that Elon thinks that he is. Why would he have let him spend so much time with X, with his little boy that was at the White House all that time? So I'm not buying that at all.
The only way that makes sense is if Elon Musk found out some news right before he left, and then he's like, well, now I'm out of here, and now I'm going to drop it. But then he backpedals,
It's
so it
a
doesn't
lot
really...
of what ifs, because his time as his contract position was what, only 180 days or something, and then it ran out, and he was done. And Trump said that he thought that Elon's saltiness was because he didn't renew the electronic vehicle mandate, and he doesn't want the American people to be forced to buy a dumbass electronic vehicle, which I'm all for. I remember a couple years ago, I was panicking. I was like, oh my God, I got to find a used car to buy. I think a lot of us were thinking, oh my God, like how much time do we have on just a regular old gas vehicle, and making us think like, oh, are we gonna have to get a stupid, like I have to drive around on a unicycle to my job kind of thing. So that was part of the mandate of the people, like not wanting the freaking electric vehicle stuff, and like that's his thing, right? So I think Elon tweeted all that stuff out because he got to a point where he was very close, very comfortable, very casual with the president, and felt very comfortable saying those things. And
so casual that he heavily alleged pedophilia allegations against him.
I gotta say,
he said he was in the files, but that doesn't. I mean,
knows
yes,
what that means.
to the average person, it does sound like he is alluding to that, which is the effect he wanted to give.
There's so many people who could just say, just normal people who could say that on Twitter. But when Elon Musk says anything, it can move markets, and everybody in the whole world hears it as soon as he says it. So I'm just like, he could have said anything, like, oh, he was just like, oh, he was a dick the whole time, or like, I never really liked him, and that would be like salacious. But he said he's in the Epstein file. That's just like more than
bold.
fighting words. I think it's really, really bold. Yeah. I wonder if he's telling the truth, or not that, like you said, dude, he's lying one way or the other. He's covering his tracks, or he just made that up, or either way, I don't know.
And
I want to know how he got the black eye.
I don't see Trump sweating as a result of that. I think if he were in the files or in any kind of meaningful, horrible way, the Dems would be all over it and would have released it. Like,
I agree.
Didn't Bondi have so many files that didn't even come her way because the last administration had taken them or burned them or just hidden them? So I mean, the Dems were doing everything possible to keep Trump out of office, bogging him down with legal stuff, trying to assassinate him. So
Allegedly.
For sure that would have come out if he were a child enthusiast.
Trump was a protege of Roy Cohn. So I'm pretty sure that, he hipped him to the Zionist blackmail scheme a long time ago. And Trump is like he's been with, thousands of women, I'm sure. Doesn't care, doesn't get damaged when he's with, I don't know, hundreds, but he pays women. He's paid women for sex. Like
I'd bet thousands.
He doesn't care.
No joke.
This doesn't, probably since the 80s, like I don't know. I think that's probably his thing. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink. I think it's just legal chicks, and he's probably, and prostitutes. So you can mix that up. But nothing
that's going to with both of you. I don't think that it's like I think that Elon was probably just trying to get a dig at a guy that he was pissed off at the time, and the dig that he did, he realized, that was too far for this to work. Like, I am becoming I'm making myself enemy number one because I would dare, because I mean, it's a terrible thing to say. It's a terrible thing to imply, and you can't back it up unless Donald Trump is willing to release the files, which he doesn't seem to be willing to do. Now, the thing more so that leads me to believe that he was telling the truth, which makes this whole conspiracy a lot more deep. It's stuff like this clip of Donald Trump, just the body language and the response here.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
They know. He knows what's up. He knows. Whatever it is, he knows.
No, it's one thing. It's one thing to give that answer on the Epstein files. He should have slowed his roll a little bit on the other, so that one didn't stand out so much. It's like, JFK files? Yep, absolutely. Whoever files? Yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Epstein? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll think about it. Like,
and then it makes people go, well, what are you thinking of right now? Like, what's giving you pause?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to hurt anybody's. There could be people in the, you don't want to, I don't know, maybe.
I can't think of a single Epstein client that I have a problem with hurting their feelings. But,
Let me check really quick. Let me check my memory.
That's what Kash Patel just said on Rogan. He's like, I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't like release any stuff that would like,
right.
Put anybody's name out there that has
If I
already
had
been
it,
through
you would
trauma.
know. If
He
I
goes,
had
that's
it.
how he would win. That's how he wins. It's like, who wins? The dead guy?
Hmm.
That's how he wins? What are you talking about? Come on.
Yeah, it's like it's you can tell when people are not telling the whole truth, and it just makes people continue to sniff around.
Especially
Sure.
in a time where, like, Bongino and Kash Patel, to some degree, they're like podcast dudes. Like, they went on all the podcasts. They're the bros that everybody knows who were going in on this one idea of, we're going to bring justice, we're going to gut the FBI, we're going to possibly even shut it down, according to them. But now they're like, we saw so much of your personality leading up to this, how amplified you can get, how passionate you can get about these topics, and now all that passion's entirely sucked out of your existence, and you're just like, oh, trust me, I'm with the government, and I'm telling you, there's no video, and also we don't have it, we can't give it to you yet because there's thousands of hours of video, but there's no video, and trust me, I'm with the government. Like, it's not a great look. But
it's frustrating. Yeah, people have wanted answers on this for so long.
Mm-hmm. Now,
but when you weigh it with all the other promises he made, can you think of what else has he promised that he's not delivering on other than the Epstein files? Maybe he just thinks the other stuff is more important. I don't know. There's got to be some detail, some squirrely reason why it's not coming out.
I appreciate your enthusiasm for Donald Trump. We both voted for him, and we don't regret it because there was no better choice, even including, but not limited to, the Libertarian Party's choice.
I want to have faith.
Yeah, I want to have faith. I want to trust the plan, but I also don't want to be sucked into another hashtag trust the plan where QAnon gets everybody to go to the Capitol and get arrested for it. Did you have any backlash? Like, obviously you weren't arrested on January 6th or for your involvement. Did you have any legal issues after that?
No, the most that happened to me was just a phone call to the House trying to confirm if one of the videos I put on Facebook was actually mine because they wanted to use it to prosecute people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Sounds right.
But the girl that I went there with, Riss, people came to her house and she just, I think, opened the door. Like, she's strapped, so she just opened the door, like, hello. Like, she knew. she knew to, really not say anything and then be like, bye.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Was that all that came of it for her? Just a knock and then a never mind.
Just a visit.
Nice. Now, I don't know, Dave. I just want to know, if you had to put money on it, do you think that Elon Musk is on the up and up on this? As far as I don't even know what I'm asking, because he about faced so quickly. It was a Kanye moment. Like, here's something terrible. And also, I disagree with what I just said. Never mind. And it seems to be the trend lately. These people just jerking the boat back and forth to where you don't even know what's going on. But
could he just be so emotional? Like we've never really seen Elon pissed or
right.
Out of control like that.
My programming was not made for anger.
Yeah, it's just, it's unseemly. You don't want to see people in a position like that to be kind of out of control and just
right. He has a lot of strong words on Twitter, but we've never seen video of Elon losing his temper, which I have not really thought about until now, and it seems odd.
Mm-hmm. It's just, the more somebody is a public figure, the more we see of them in general, and it's like, ooh, okay, you want to take them seriously, but when you see someone with such emotional tweets like that, it makes you go, ugh, all right. I wish I kind of hadn't seen that. The only person who can really pull that off, in my opinion, is Trump. But that's part of what makes him entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump doesn't, he says crazy shit on Twitter, but he doesn't lose his cool ever.
No.
Ever. So that's
probably behind the scenes.
And he never takes back anything. Probably. He'll never apologize. I'm sorry I said that about Rosie O'Donnell. He never.
I've never seen that happen.
And that's the weird thing is these types of people, they have these what seem like world-ending spats on Twitter, and then the next day they're like, he's an okay guy. He's fine. We're good. Like, I don't know. Is it all an act, or is it all just Twitter?
It's all
explosion?
WWE. It's all
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
I see these people talking about the people that hate Trump are calling him Taco. I don't know. It's like an acronym for something.
Taco.
Taco. This is there's a taco thing, and this is like all the liberal influencers are using this, but it's been going on for weeks. But like
I
what
haven't seen
they
it.
don't understand is that he doesn't give a fuck if you're cheering for him or just talk about him. Just make the whole conversation about him. That's what they don't understand, the energy they're giving to him. It's all, he's taken all the oxygen.
I don't care what you think as long as it's about me.
Yeah, it's really, they're silly, but.
He's got a thick ass skin. He's been through all of it. I mean, he survived an assassination attempt, so I'm sure a little shit talking is not going to bother him.
Unless you think that was all fake, but that's a different thing.
You really think it was fake? You're one of these people that think he came out there with a packet of ear blood. Come on.
I do not think it was fake. I think that was a real bullet, but I am extremely skeptical about why, one, the only time people talk about that in his camp and like on the, they go, oh, Iran did this. Iran set up these two white guys? Like one who traveled to the Ukraine and the other one was like an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. And Trump is not like, why is that not one of the investigations that we're leading? Like we should try and
looking
find that
into
out.
Like what radicalized these people that did the attempts.
Yeah.
And why
maybe they're
Trump
quietly
glossed over it
into
so much, and why Trump isn't asking, like all he's done is praise the Secret Service, who at best did a shit job. And at worst, we're conspiring against him.
Who knows? Maybe they're like low key looking into it as to not like inspire other potential shooters.
Yeah.
I think the left kind of like glamorizes this sort of thing, and their rhetoric, like any lefty in power over the last couple of years, has been all but straight up telling people to do it. Even Biden himself, we got to put a target on Trump's back or something. And Maxine Waters, so many people have glamorized violence towards him that it really just takes a couple people wanting to be a hero, and it just. They let it happen. I don't know. Do I think the Secret Service purposely? I think a lot of things had to line up for that to happen. Like he wanted more Secret Service that day in Butler, PA, and ended up getting less than he wanted. And just think about how many appearances he does, and in so many of them, not all those things line up, right? Because it doesn't happen. Who knows if there are people attempting this every time he's done an appearance? Maybe these are the ones we hear about because that's how close it got.
Yeah. Who knows? It's an old topic. I'm happy to argue about it more later. But on that note, with the PA shooting, my last thought is, if like the people who were there who got injured on the job, if they did under Trump's administration and advisement, they should contact Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Have you or a loved one been injured by some fucknuggets, reckless driving, a tumble at your shitty job, or some other form of dumb shit outside of your control? Well, fear not, because today's episode is sponsored by a lawyer. Lone Star Injury Attorneys is an award-winning personal injury law firm that achieves maximum results for its injured clients. Max the Axe is not just a lawyer, but a hardcore Mises Caucus libertarian and also a big supporter of this show and all of our bullshit. Max is the best personal injury lawyer in Texas, but don't judge him by his occupation or location. Max is an avid defender of liberty and justice in whatever state you got fucked in. If you've been injured and your ass needs saving, go with the pros at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or Google Max the Axe. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Once again, go to LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered.
Hey there, do you like shirts? Of course you do. Well, get a load of these shirts from DissidentShop.com. Your one-stop shop for all the latest designs that will make your friends go, oh, wow. That guy is so based, I want to be his friend during the apocalypse. Go to DissidentShop.com and wear the dissidents you want to see in the world.
And we're we're back, and our guest is also back. There she is.
I looked through some of those shirts. It's really cute. They have one that's a baby onesie that says like I approve of this onesie or something like that.
That's
It's
right.
funny.
That's right. It's the RFK thing. Do you support these onesies? From Bernie Sanders. Now, we do need to. I don't want to spend too much time on this because, call me stupid, but I don't care about the beginning of Civil War II over in LA or the Pride parades in LA. I don't care that much. It's nothing new at this point, and it'll either die out or it won't. And if it doesn't, I'm still in the middle of a cornfield, and it's probably not going to make its way here. I don't like that it's happening to other people, obviously, and I think that it's wrong. But Donald Trump is sending in the military now, which many people said that he should have done back during the BLM riots as well. And Gavin Newsom's pushing back on it, and they're having their own spat there. I don't know. Chrissie, what's your thought on everything that's going on there? I know that you've been covering it a lot on your Twitter.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. It's different this time. It seems like the same things, the same factors and people involved and funding that created the Summer of Love. Like they're trying to reenact the same thing this summer, obviously, but it's just maybe it is because Trump called in the National Guard so quickly, and we have Mayor Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom just floundering in their handling of it. I think Gavin has really damaged any hope for his presidential run. Who knows? He still might run because who else did the Dems have? But they look so bad.
They did try to kick him out once, and then he still won again. Yeah. So people are blind there, and they'll re-vote for him at least for governor.
They're idiots. It's crazy. Yeah. They went from one day saying that Trump is responsible for escalating the situation down there by calling in the National Guard. Oh, they should have just left our local police to handle it. It's like, and then that just flies out the window because then the next day they report like something like 25 businesses have been looted. They have footage of cars burning. That's all the Republicans need for midterms. Like they got all the footage they need to be like, yeah, you guys are ass clowns. Like you can't handle your own shit. You're not doing your job, and your job is to look out for the safety of your residents.
So you're saying that these will help Trump in the midterms and the Republicans in the midterms.
I think
a lot of
so.
people are saying that it won't because he's enacting these authoritarian measures to stop fires.
It's what people voted for. It's what most people voted for him, and it's what most people wanted. Most people wanted and still want mass deportations, and we're still not even up to the level that he would need. Like, are we deporting 3,000 people a day? Because that was the rate where people were coming in every day for the last 4 years. It seems like he's really just focusing on violent criminals and I guess whoever they can scoop up trying to get a day labor position at Home Depot. I don't know. I guess that's what triggered everything, is that they went to places of employment. Like I read, I think on Twitter somewhere that the ICE raid was at like a restaurant that one of the cartels was operating out of.
Sure. Do we know that the cartels were operating out of it, or is that like Israel saying that there's a bomb in your baby's crib, so we need to blow them up? I'm not an open borders libertarian type of guy by any stretch, but there is something a little bit off-putting about let's start with the Home Depot guys instead of the cartel. If there was a cartel,
they're not starting with them. They've been focusing on the criminals, really since January, right? So
Kristi Noem has been cracking skulls, bro.
And looking perfect not a hair out of place while she does it.
No. Enjoy the show.
Now, do you guys agree with Ben Shapiro here?
Tomorrow on the Ben Shapiro show, I'm going to make the case that President Trump should just let California burn. It's what the Democrats want, and so they should just get it. Good and hard. I'll give you 3 reasons why. Spoiler alert, it's more than 3 reasons.
All right, whatever. Do you guys think that Trump should? I mean, obviously, that's
as president, he can't. He's got to be daddy for the whole country, even if California doesn't deserve it.
And they're friends, by the way. Trump and Gavin Newsom are friends, and they have been for a long time. So this is all. It just reeks of political theater to me. Yeah, like this is going to give both parties what they want. Like this is going to be good for Trump in the midterms. He's going to show you on TV him cracking skulls, deporting people. You're going to get that show. They're going to probably win again. But Gavin Newsom, I'm pretty certain, will run for president in 2028. And I do not underestimate white women across the country who will make a terrible decision like voting for Gavin Newsom. You know, that swing that, you know, put Obama in, put Trump in. I think that would probably put him into, regardless of how absolutely terrible he is on nearly everything. But yeah, every time I see him over the past couple of days, he's campaigning for president. Every time he talks to the camera, while this stuff is going on and pretending it's important, he's running for president.
That's what it feels like.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite posts from Gavin Newsom on this whole thing was this. He said, "You sent your troops here without fuel, food, or water, or a place to sleep. Here they are being forced to sleep on the floor, piled on top of one another. If anyone is treating our troops disrespectfully, it is you." And we see this like every time there's troops deployed anywhere in the United States and any political discussion around it. It's you're mistreating the troops because they had to sleep on the floor indoors. And I don't know. I'm not a soldier or a veteran or anything, but I have a feeling that the veterans are like, nice. Like it's probably being deployed anywhere. That's probably one of the more comfortable places that you have to sleep.
True. Yeah, they can sleep in dirt holes.
Yep.
Yeah. They didn't.
With explosions going on around.
Pretty happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're okay. But what do I know? We do need to talk about my favorite topic, and the topic that I warned Chrissie about before she even came on. I was like, we're gonna have to talk about some libertarian stuff. If you want to reschedule, we don't always talk about libertarian stuff, but when it happens, we got to talk about it. And there's some stupid things that the libertarians are doing as usual. But leading into that, we've got Chase Oliver, the presidential candidate or the libertarian presidential candidate in 2024. So Anonymous posted, do you guys remember when Anonymous was like based and awesome? Like they were the cool kids back in the day. Now they're just like, whatever Joe Biden says, we're the hackers that defy the authority of Donald Trump. They posted, ICE forced to barricade themselves inside the federal building in Los Angeles until LAPD could intervene and rescue them from the brave crowd standing up to the regime, to which Chase Oliver shared and said, California, this should be the national mood. Keep it up. Encouraging that. And frankly, as a libertarian, I'm torn on it because there is a part of, thinking about the protesters having, having the LAPD cornered and or ICE cornered and barricading themselves. It does bring me a tiny bit of joy. I'm not going to lie, but I don't think that I would imagine if I was there, I would probably be like, yeah, this doesn't feel right that we're cornering people and holding them hostage until the cops can come and save them. But I don't know. It's a libertarian debate. What do you guys think?
What is the perfect libertarian stance on this? Like, is it more typical that a libertarian would be for just completely open borders? Or does it depend?
It's almost a literal 50-50 split, which is why our party doesn't accomplish anything, is because anything that's a gray area just becomes a tiny duopoly. It becomes a tiny version of left versus right, and then we're bickering over nonsense power that doesn't have any actual power in the real world. A lot of people are open borders people. I don't think Dave and I are at all. Because private property rights are private property rights, and even if it is the government that you don't like, if they have their property, that doesn't give somebody else to impede on that. I don't know. That's a whole giant debate that can last hours, and many people have covered it better than we're going to. But what do you think, Dave?
My opinion would get me disliked by everybody, and that is because I want to abolish ICE and the entire Department of Homeland Security, but these people gots to go. Yeah. That's the truth. Both of those things are true at the same time.
Don't like the government, and I don't like anybody who's here without approval.
Yeah. Why don't you like ICE?
I think that this could be handled by we have so much. There's so many different like you could just handle that locally. Like if California is having a problem or if Texas is having a problem, like when that was the issue last year with Texas wasn't allowed to control their border. The feds were saying, no, this is how we want it. And
So
Texas
handling
was
it
like,
locally
fuck
would
you."
be agreeing with Ben Shapiro, let California burn, because locally Gavin Newsom is doing that.
It
I
would have been
guess.
worse.
I really don't
yeah.
want to. I don't want to agree with Ben Shapiro there, but I'm okay with the National Guard being used. This is like the tables are getting flipped. Like this is what Gavin Newsom is bitching about now, that Trump wants to nationalize the National Guard or something like that. Defend the Guard has been the thing that we've been pushing forever, to give the National Guard power back to the governors, because it has been in federal control for so long. They can send, there's National Guard troops all over the world. They should be in California ready to, I'd much rather them be in California in the streets, keeping the peace, so to speak, rather than Iraq or Afghanistan or anywhere else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend. You know, we can do this without extra government 3-letter agencies that maybe have, in some cases, extrajudicial powers, you know, maybe don't handle things quite with the same finesse.
Right, because you're for less government. Right. Yeah.
For sure.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm pro security though. And I'm pro property rights. So like, this is not, you can't just flood into the country. You can't flood in the country. It's not okay. Not everybody can come here. It's okay to have restrictions on that stuff.
Yeah.
So, libertarian guy supporting this. I don't know. It's if it was anybody else. Sorry. I have a lot of libertarian friends who could make this argument.
With the
vape. It's not that. I have a lot of libertarian friends who could make this argument a lot better than Chase Oliver can, and it might just be because Chase Oliver is Chase Oliver. So when he says it, the guy who was bad on everything from BLM to COVID to all the shit except for like war and gun control and, you know, freedom of speech and stuff like that.
We're going to go after your friends in the region.
What is happening?
You know,
nope. Don't need Jimmy Dore. Why is that playing? Yeah, it coming from Chase Oliver has a different ring to it after seeing everything that Chase Oliver has said and done and been like, well, all these Mises Caucus folks are just Republican light, and Ron Paul is bad and a racist, and even before he got the nomination, like years before, he chastised the Libertarian Party as racist for some of the tweets that they put out, and he's like, I want nothing to do with this party unless I say so, and then he becomes the candidate for the Libertarian Party, and it's like, well, yeah, I don't think this is as flagrantly evil of a post as people are making it out to be. It's not a great look when you're always taking the left's position on everything, but yeah, I don't know. It's Chase.
Yeah.
You know, we should have played the Jason Kopp intro for leading into this, because it's been a while. It's been a while since we've had any reason to talk about these guys, and it's important to let people know when the spinoff series arises. So we're going to talk about not just Chase. We're going to talk a bit about Mike Termott in just a second, but we got to do it.
Chase. C-H-A-S-E. Chase. Chase.
That's right.
Terrible.
It's Chase and Kopp.
Just terrible.
That's a lot of face mask time.
It's Chase and
He
Kopp,
loves
where
it.
we talk about the former Libertarian president and vice president candidates because nobody else did. And so as I said, Chase's campaign was more like the Mises Caucus is bad. Anybody who's right-leaning libertarian's bad because you're just Republican light. You're just Nazis and bigots and homophobes and all that shit. Mike Termott comes into the race and he's kind of grifting around, and he was running for president, and then he ended up on Chase's campaign as the vice presidential candidate. And he was happy to move around in all the different camps and everything, but he ended up with Chase, which will forever be his legacy, that he was Chase's second-hand man, and he pushed all of Chase's stuff. Now, Fast forward to today. 1 day ago, I received this email. Let me know if anything sticks out to you guys about this email. Got this from Mike Termott. He says, come on. There we go. He says, well, for immediate release, Libertarian Party 2024 Vice Presidential nominee Mike Termott joins the Republican Liberty Caucus. Mike Termott, blah, 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 blah. So Mike Termott is effectively becoming the Republican that he accused us all of being, and the reason why he needed to oppose us. I mean, not him necessarily directly, because he's really good at playing the middle of the road, but the campaign that he worked on accused us all of being evil Republicans, Republican light, people who just wanted to get Donald Trump elected ever since the takeover. And now he is saying, hey, y'all, come join me in the Republican Party. And I don't know. To be very clear up front, that is a smarter place for Mike Termott to be. For his beliefs and his views and everything, it seems like that is more Mike Termott's area where he would be valuable, not as the vice presidential candidate with Chase Oliver. But you can't deny that there's something hilarious about the guy who ran on that campaign being like, well, you were too Republican, and now you should all join me. Republican Mike Termott. Sorry. Any thoughts?
Dude, listen, that guy really pissed me off, and I smelled a rat immediately with that guy, and nobody else did. Well, some people did, but not enough to keep him away, to repel that guy. He just swooped into the party, aligned himself with Chase, and gave us the gayest, fucking lamest ticket you could possibly imagine. And listen, if he's not working for the Trump administration, how could we even tell the difference, bro? How could we even tell the difference? You just swoop in, you come in 5th place, you neuter the Libertarian Party, prevent us from doing anything cool, and then you swoop out and go right back to the party that you originally came from.
For that,
he was in law enforcement. So if I were him, I would have so much more respect if he just came up to me instead of trying to he wants to be friends on Twitter now. And I wish he would just say, I fucking came in there and shit all over you guys. I would have so much more respect for him if I came in and I made your party my bitch. And then I left. Then I would be like, follow. All right, dude. Now I want to talk to you. Now I want to talk to you. But until then, and you're just going to keep up this, whatever it takes, I'm saying it. Whatever it takes, that's what I'm saying. Whatever, as long as you do that, then get the fuck out of here. I don't got time for that.
Yep. Chrissy, do you got any thoughts on this? I do have a clip of Mike Termott giving his announcement that we'll play in a second. But
which one do you think is more beloved by libertarians, Chase or Mike?
Chase.
It's honestly a tough question because they're both
such a niche
so
kind of
loved.
Right.
Yeah, from the lefty libertarians, definitely Chase. From the right the right-leaning libertarians can't stand Chase, and they're like, Mike is a nice guy. So it really depends on who you ask with the 50-50 split. Here is the nice guy, former cop, former federal employee, definitely not a Fed though, giving his latest update.
If defeating socialism and protecting the Constitution are important to you, then listen. The great political battle of our time will be inside of the Republican Party to fill the vacuum created when Donald Trump leaves office. If you're like me, you want that vacuum to be filled with free market economics, fiscal conservatism, and common sense foreign policy. Hi, this is Mike Termott, the 2024 Libertarian Party nominee for Vice President. I've decided to engage this battle by joining the Republican Party and joining the Republican Liberty Caucus. If you want to engage this political battle, I hope you'll contact me directly at mike@MikeTermott.com. Not because the Republican Party is everything that it should be right now, but because of everything that it could be if we work at it together.
Oh, wait. Plays the song. He's keeping the song alive. I had a friend reached out to me and shared his conversation earlier today, and he was like, they played the song. I totally forgot that was the end of their campaign ads. I thought that was just something you guys did to make fun of them. And now that we've made fun of them with that song over and over and over again, that's what it's more known for. And every time he plays it, people will laugh. Now, with this thing, with this announcement, like, he's not just announcing that he's going Republican. It's like he's trying to, he's got this elaborate plan to do the takeover, but not the Libertarian Party. He's taking over the GOP now. The guy who couldn't, like, he got to the top of the ticket, or the second top of the ticket in the Libertarian Party, and a whole lot of people didn't like him. He definitely didn't take over the party with his agenda, but now he's going to move over to the GOP, similar to Bill Weld, Gary Johnson, and others. I think Gary Johnson did. I don't know. But now he's going to take them over. And, Chrissie, I know you're a little bit more right-leaning. Do you have concern that Chase Oliver's former running mate is going to come take over your party right now?
No, I'm not concerned.
He's pretty compelling. I mean,
I only ever hear about either of these guys in niche libertarian spaces.
Yeah, where they belong.
I'm trying so hard to get Dan to stop talking about them. I'm like, I've been like on drugs for the past 6 or 7 years, like hanging out with these people.
Oh, wow.
And trying to get no.
Tell.
It's what it feels like. It feels like I've been on drugs, trying to get sober, and Smotz is like, no, have these drugs. This is what you need.
Here's some more drugs, Dave. Here's some more drugs.
Have some drugs.
This is a flashback to the convention. This is where Mike Tremont made his exit for any Republicans that are now fearing the Mike Tremont takeover of your party. This is his exit from the convention.
Missouri, Davy and Natalie Lloyd, that were viciously killed yesterday in Haiti. It was a horrible thing, and I just want to pay my respects to their families and great families, incredible people, and it's a very, very sad moment because what happened was so horrible.
Now, if you didn't catch that, I, as a propagandist and video guy, take very great offense to this, because you had the entire hour to get this shot, this clearly staged shot, Mike Tremont. You had a guy with a phone, and I would imagine all his instructions is pointed at the orange man, pan over to me, then I'm going to wave a little bit, act outraged, and walk out. This is some shit propaganda. Not only is it not staged well, but if you listen closely,
You're in my shot.
You can hear the camera guy saying, "Get out of the way, you're in my shot." Again, you had an entire hour to get this 17-second shot, and you went with that one where you're saying, "Get out of the way, you're in my shot," and pretending like it's a extreme, actual natural outrage. But I just thought that was a funny share and a flashback to the sincerity of Mike Tremont.
Got his wife involved in that one too.
What's that, Chrissie?
They should have done a retake.
One more.
Yeah, you could have done 5 to 25 of those in the amount of time that you had with during Trump's speech. But let me see. Here is Chase Oliver's comment on Mike Tremont exiting the Liberty sphere for the Republican sphere. He said, quote, "My comment on the recent press release from Mike Tremont, quote, This isn't the choice I would make, and I'm skeptical of its success, but Mike is his own man, and I respect him as a good person, and he was a supportive running mate. He's made clear to me personally and to others that this isn't a personal attack or a statement against me or our campaign. We were both proud of running for public office and the efforts we made as candidates for the president and vice president. If he ends up being successful in spreading liberty and libertarianism in the GOP, I'll be happy to be proven wrong. I don't believe, however, that the GOP is a climate for those ideas to grow at this time. I wish him well, even though I am highly skeptical of his chance to succeed in the current climate of the GOP, which disrespects libertarian positions on the economy, due process, separation of powers, and more. I will have more to say in the future, but that's it for now." Good job. Good job, Chase Oliver. Yeah, talking bold as always. I don't know what you do in that situation. I think that the best thing that could be done right now is for Mike Tremont to join the GOP and for Chase Oliver to join the DNC, because they're not good messengers. They're definitely not good enough messengers to pitch people and sell people on this completely foreign idea to them of lesser to no government. But they might have, if they had any value at all, it would probably be in their respective parties where I would say they belong.
And then it would be so much less confusing for normal people like Chrissie, who were like, really? How the fuck did this happen to your just looking in, anytime I hear people talking about these guys, it's just in your niche audience. Like, it is kind of it's crazy how that happened. I mean, I think about that when I'm like, man, I spend a lot of time in here. But
Chrissie, what was kind of what has been your perception? Like, you're kind of tied to libertarianism in some ways based on your views, but you're not as full-fledged as we are, obviously. What's been kind of your experience just in the philosophy and like what brought you to that, and what has happened in the politics of the so-called Libertarian Party?
It was meeting Larry Sharpe, who ran for governor of New York a few years ago. Gosh, did he run in 2018? I don't remember the exact years he ran, but he's the first libertarian I'd ever met. And just like a conversation with him. He was a guest on my podcast a few times. I've done his show a few times. I hosted, I think, a couple of events for him, at least one event for him. And just in conversations with him, I realized, like, oh, I guess I maybe am a little bit more libertarian on some issues, but I don't really I don't keep up with the party much. Like I was kind of excited.
You're fine.
I was kind of excited when I thought Dave Smith was going to run, because I know him from comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's kind of sad, because it just seems like most people are like, have resigned themselves to the fact that having a third party, like a functioning third party in this country again, is just impossible. It almost seems like a libertarian third party is just as plausible as bringing back the Whig Party.
Amen. Let's go.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Whigs for life.
It seems like there's always a balance between like, oh, don't waste your vote, and, well, if you don't vote for these people, how are we ever gonna get the certain percentage, to get on the ballot? That always seems to be the conversation every 4 years, which must be frustrating.
Mm-hmm. It is for those that care. I'm pretty past that at this point, but we do like to make fun of politicians, no matter what party they're in. Chrissie, I know you got to get going. You got your show to do. Tell people again where they can find you, your tour and everything. Any final thoughts on anything that we've covered? And for those watching, if you want to join us in the after party, me and Dave will continue ranting about libertarian dumb shit over there.
I just want to say thank you, Dan and Dave, for having me. You guys are fabulous. Great show. I loved your intro too. That was really fun. Was that just an AI creation there?
Oh, the songs at the beginning?
Yeah.
Those were all just AI slop.
That's really cool.
If you can't beat the robots, at least enslave them for your own use.
You got to have them do a little intro for you. Mm-hmm. Guys, if you want to see me at a comedy show, get your tickets at ChrissieMayr.com. I'll be on Long Island, Plano, Texas, Massillon, Ohio, San Diego, and Phoenix coming up the end of this summer into the fall. Also, we'll be announcing soon a big event we'll be doing at the beginning of September, which is going to be in upstate New York. Follow me on YouTube. Check out my Sunday night all-female panel show, Simpcast. That's on YouTube as well. And you can watch me just about every Friday on Nerdrotic's YouTube channel for Friday Night Tights. That is like a pop culture and like film, TV critique show with a lot of nerds. I'm there as like the normie token female. And follow me on Twitter at Chrissie Mayr and Instagram at Chrissie Mayr Pod.
Awesome. Chrissie, thank you so much for being here. You can bounce whenever you need to. Dave, any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom? Any plugs that you want to get in there?
Just want to say thanks, Chrissie, for being here and for being funny and bold and for going against the grain when it is necessary.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Where can people find you, Dave?
You can find me on Twitter, Dave vs. Glath1, and dissidentmedia.com.
You can find me at TSIDPod on Twitter, thesystemsdown.tv, or wherever the Systems Downs are sold. Thank you all for being here so very much, and join us, as I said, in the after party, where we will keep the party going with some more things that most people should never care about, libertarian politics. We're going to talk about it over there. Lots and lots of drama. We're going to deep dive into it for a few more half hours, and we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll see y'all next time. Until then, question everything, stay uncomfortable, and we'll talk to you then. See ya.
Thanks for watching. Smash all the like and subscribe buttons because that's what we say at the end of videos. Good night, everybody.
This concludes our broadcast day.